Alright guys, so I just gotta say I'm running on like no sleep and kind of dragging my ass today. I still do work on the side. I do concrete maintenance, concrete plant maintenance for them, fixing wear plates and stuff. So I was there at 5 this morning. It's now 1 o'clock and I'm at my shop. So I'm gonna keep working on my car. Figured I might as well capitalize on as much time as I can now while we have it. It's time crunch right now. Just gotta say thanks to my whole team. Everybody's working so hard, late nights, early mornings, just grinding so hard. So thanks to Jay Vanette and 403 Street Driven, and thanks for Malcolm. He's been a huge help for me. We've been able to still take care of our clients while I'm doing concrete plant maintenance and fixing my car. We're still able to get some work done for clients as well, because you guys are important to us, and without you we wouldn't be able to keep drifting. So everything's falling into place. Just wanted to say a huge shout out to everyone, because we're grinding hard. But coming in this morning, or early afternoon I should say, as much as I didn't like that bash bar at first, it's kind of growing on me. I think it looks pretty cool actually. It is a little wide, but the tube work just looks phenomenal. It's a little different than my normal styles. Like I said, it's a little bigger and a little farther out. It doesn't flow as nice as I'd like it to, but I mean it's gonna serve a purpose, and the more I look at it, the more I like it. So yeah, Malcolm got me new fenders the other day, so I'll probably use the new fenders as mock-up so I can make mounting locations for my fenders, and make sure that the bolt holes are going to be true, because my fenders are pretty mangled. But other than that, this friggin' GoPro just doesn't want to charge. I don't know what it is. Every day I come in here, it's on 1%. It's been plugged in all night. So I'm going to put the GoPro back on the charger and start brainstorming. But hopefully this is going to be one of the last days in this video segment. Probably have to break this into a couple videos. So yeah, I'm going to put the camera down, start brainstorming, and hopefully have this car, for the most part, welded out by the end of the day. So gonna get on the tools, charge this silly little camera up, and I'll keep you guys updated as we go. Alright guys, did some brainstorming. I don't know if I recall talking about this yesterday, but I was going to try to repurpose some of those dimple dies from my old dash bar. I don't know, kind of pay homage to my first setup and save myself some time. So I removed a section on the top there and came up with these plates. There's one on the ground there, but this side looks a little better. So I'll just show you this side. So nothing fancy. You won't even see them. They'll be under the fenders, but Jesus, that's how you know I'm tired. They'll be under the fenders, but I think it's just going to complete this crumple zone here a little better. Like I said, I like when stuff flows, and that'll just kind of complete that section. So yeah, there's the other one on the ground for this side. The next one I want to do, I'm going to cut them out of here on both sides. So I'll have two, and what I want to do with those ones is put them kind of right here. So these ones you will see. Again, it's more or less just for looks. I like the way dimple dies look, and let my first bash bar live on a little longer. So I'm going to zip those out, clean them up, probably tack those on, and once those are tacked on, I might just start welding until I get my other fenders here. I need a good set of fenders to make the fender brackets. Just one other thing I want to show you quickly before I do a time lapse of me cutting and cleaning. Remember I was talking about how this tube here, my new frame rail with the slip fit, runs inside the existing frame rail. Just for reference, I want to show you guys how long those actually are. So I'll set up the camera here, see if we can't capture that. Don't mind me. Okay, I only got 2 hands, so I'm putting this in the pipes now. Now, as I pull out, keep your mind out of the gutter, everybody, alright? I'm going to pull this out. Look how long this tube slides out. Substantial amount. Alright, you guys see that? Just for reference, right? I can't stress enough the strength that you're going to gain by doing a slip fit like this. Like, this tube is getting all the way consumed inside that frame rail. Not only is it going to help the existing frame rail with strength, but during impact you have sleeved material. So your 1.5" or your 1.75" DOM, that's a 120 wall, is now like shit, I don't even know, like a 560 wall. It's substantially bigger, it's slugged, and I got my 1/4" pins that I'm going to be putting right around here as the weak point. I don't think I'll be leaving this. I don't think I'll be leaving these that long, but I just wanted to show you guys how long they really are. And that's, like I said, that's the way I've always done it, and I think it's a proven strategy. I'll probably knock these back a little bit so that they're not, you know, too extreme by any means. Like I said, this bash bar kind of looks funny, but it's all built on purpose, and there is a method to my madness, believe it or not. So just wanted to show you guys that quick. But I'm going to set up a time lapse, get those dimple dies cut out, clean them up, tack them on, and then that's pretty much the front end, besides headlights and hood pins and fender mounts. So a couple odd little ends here to do. I did pick up some riv nuts. I'll show you guys these pins too while I'm at it. So these are 1/4" trailer pins. Nothing too big by any means, but it would take quite a bit to shear these clean off. And that's kind of my weak link in the front end. These will snap. They're $3, and you can replace them very easily. So during impact, this will shear, and that bash bar will just get shoved into the car farther, and that's going to take a lot of the inertia. Another thing I want to show you guys, these are basically like if you have a trailer with sliding rails, like anchor points, these are just removable anchor points. My last bash bar, I'll show you actually right here, it had the tow hooks kind of sticking out from the bumper. Looked super cool. Like I was saying before, this bash bar, my first bash bar, was made pretty much for looks, but that was really silly of me to do that. I should have considered other people when installing tow hooks like that. This one sheared right off, completely snapped, and that one's still there, but poor Brayman's car got the knife's end of it, literally. Had I not had those, his cooler would have been alright. My tow hook basically just penetrated that cooler like nothing and sprayed oil everywhere. So these are going to be my new tow straps. They are fabric. Rally guys use a bit more specific design. I feel like this is going to do the same purpose that theirs does. It's easy to hook onto. Anybody that's pulling my car out, this is going to have enough strength, and in impact, this chunk of fabric's not gonna destroy your car. So I'll have to hide these somewhere. I'm gonna probably just weld this clip right on, and I'll soak this in water so it doesn't get burnt at all. But I'll probably weld this right onto my tube front somewhere so I can remove my bash bar and still have tow hooks. But yeah, just lots of little tidbits of information I thought I'd share with you guys. Like I said, I'm giving you guys a lot of the tricks that I've learned over the years, and hopefully you guys take it into consideration and don't just rob all my fab work. I'm a nice guy. I like to share my thoughts. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking to this camera. Sometimes I just keep going and going and going, and I need to get some work done. So put this camera down, get on the tools, and I will keep you guys updated. But for now, we're going to roll a time lapse of me cutting those dimple dies out, cleaning them up, get them on this car, and keep on keeping on, baby. Let's do this. Took a hot minute, but got those little dimple die sections put on each side here. I think with some paint it'll finish it off. They look a little dirty, so it kind of draws your eye away from the other clean fabric, but once it's done it'll all be painted white and look nice and uniform. I think it's a good way of finishing off these crumple zones. I think they flow a little better, especially with the logos here. If you do take the fender off, you'll be able to see some dimple dies. So got those put on both sides. I also went ahead and welded out this back section just on the top. Reason being is that I won't be able to get to it. So welded that out before I put the dimple dies on, just so I know that's nice and hot, got good penetration in there, and don't have to worry about it now that these are on top. So that's done. I also went ahead and put these rib nuts in here for my radiator clip. So now my radiator, there's a bit of wiggle room, but my radiator's not going to move. So those are done. The steel rib nuts are, I wouldn't say necessarily harder to squish. Obviously they are a little bit harder, but they basically bent the hell out of my gun, so I'm gonna have to get a better rib nut gun because those steel rib nuts are pretty tough. That's an easier way of putting in nuts. Typically, like, I would take a nut, weld around it, and then there's your threads, or you could even tap the tube, but these rib nuts have a decent amount of threads on them, and being that they're steel, you get adequate strength, and it's just easy to do. Yeah, and in the event that this radiator does get bashed in or moved for whatever reason, those rib nuts will more than likely just rip right out, which is a good thing as opposed to ripping my radiator all to shreds. So yeah, just making headway here. Kind of anxious to just get on the welding gun and just weld. I'm friggin' so tired. But yeah, anyway, next thing I want to do is put the fenders. So Malcolm brought my new to me fenders. Just these black guys here. They're actually in decent shape, so I'll be able to use these as a proper reference for where I should put my fender mounts. So it's probably going to be this hole here or this one. I can put them on the car and make proper tabs to accommodate the straight fenders, and then I'll just line my old ones up as best I can. That way I know where they're supposed to be. So probably time-lapse me just putting the fenders on and coming up with a solution for the fender mounts. So making headway here. It's coming along. It's coming along. So I'm going to time-lapse me putting those fenders on and come up with a fender bracket. Let's do that. Alright guys, I'm not even going to make up any excuses. I got carried away. I'm too tired to screw around this camera and try to get all this done. I just wanted to hammer it out, and I came up with a solution for the fender mounts. Just a simple little piece of angle. The fender literally sits on top, so drill a hole, put a rib nut there, bada boom, bada bang. Got another fender mount there, and then I usually do one underneath. Just like I actually use 1/4" welding rod, and that way you can kind of play with the fender if it gets crunched. So I did the same thing on this side. What else did I do? I also made this. It's like a hood pin slot, I guess you could say. It's actually going into the tube. It's just the way the hood pins ended up sitting when I put them in the hood. So never mind my ugly tacks. I'm gonna clean that all up. So yeah, that's good for my hood pins. As you thread them in, they go inside the tube, and then there's another nut on top that you can tighten down so that they don't move. What else did I do? This bumper brace here. Again, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's going to serve a purpose. I had my bumper and fender sitting on there with like no zip ties, nothing, and it looked perfect. So I think that's going to work. Plus, I like to run with a bumper, so you never really get a chance to see it without the bumper on it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm just going to do a quick time lapse of me welding it out, and then I'm going to go home and sleep. Hopefully start editing these videos for you guys. So yeah, kind of a different design, but like I said, this thing's built for war this time around. It's more function over form. It still looks cool. I think once I paint it all white, it'll pop a lot more. But compared to some of my other bash bars, I don't think it looks as good. But like I said, it's serving a purpose at this point. I don't really care what it looks like because it's gonna work. Like I said, these I don't even know what you want to call them. These legs here that stick out actually touch the bumper and the fender. So if I get hit from the side, that's just going to cave in, and then it's going to cave in that top section as well, leaving the rest of the tube to be hopefully okay. I don't really want to test that theory, but I'm confident it'll work. So I'm going to get all set up here and make sure I clean all my weld affected zones, and then start hammering it out. And then when I come out tomorrow, all I got to do is tow hooks and pins for the bumper, and then I can paint it and get this car put back together and go racing, go drifting I should say. So yeah, it's been a long couple days and I am gassed. Oh, I also did these headlight brackets. I utilized one of the old ones from the other tube front, both the same on each side. Just a little chunk of rod, same thing. If you get hit, this is something that you can just bend by hand, and I'd rather it fold and then be able to easily repair it in the pits instead of having to get a grinder out and start cutting everything off. So the headlight brackets are pretty flimsy, I guess you could say, and my weakest link is those 1/4-inch pins for my slip fit. So anyway, I'm going to do a time lapse and get on my welding machine here and just start burning this friggin' car out so I can get it back together and go drift, because I'm sick of welding. I do welding for a living. I just want to get this car finished and get back on track. So time lapse is coming up, and tomorrow we're going to wrap this rebuild up and get this car put back together. So anyway, time lapse time. Till then, see you guys. Just wanted to add one more thing. I'm going to be trying to stagger the heat out, so if I'm not just putting so much heat on one side of the car then moving to the other, you'd be surprised how much heat can move stuff around. So if you see me bounce around in the video, that's why. Probably going to start a little bit down low, a little bit over here, there, bounce around, and stagger out that heat and keep this thing true. So that's some advice for you guys. Anybody that's welding in the shop, you're ready to weld it out, don't just start blasting on one side. Try to spread yourself out, and you should be good. We're gonna do a time lapse. Let's do it. What's up, guys? I'm in my my Fox body here, my dad mobile, if you will. So I gotta go grab some paint on my way out to the shop today. Last night I was just really irritable and tired, and didn't really film much. I just wanted to get focused again, and like I said, we're on a tight time schedule, so I apologize for not filming more, but I will throw a little time lapse in of me just welding it out. Basically the car's been welded out and pretty much ready to go. Next thing I want to do is pretty much throw tow hooks on it and throw some riv nuts for the fenders on the front. But other than that, that tube front's pretty much done. There's a couple more things I want to change or add to it, but all in all, we're like around 80% done. I would say that's a good number. So I'm gonna head out to our local supplier here and grab some paint. It is Sunday, so I had to wait a little bit. I was editing videos this morning, but I'm gonna get driving out to the shop, grab some paint, and when I get there, I'll kind of show you guys what's going on. But let me just throw a time lapse right now in of me welding out the car last night. I was at the shop until probably 11:30 at night, and yeah, you guys can watch that, and I will pick up when I get to the shop. Until then, say bye, Meeks. I've lived on this acreage, and it's been a family acreage my whole life, and I just gotta say, this road in the fall never gets old. So beautiful. Woo! gotta put this in here. This car is completely original. Never been modified, 100% stock. And I absolutely love this car. I've never been so content with a completely factory car. All mechanical, no AC, no cassette, no CD. And the thing is just a blast to drive. There's a 4-speed manual. Her name's Cherry. And I love it. It's my dad mobile. But enough about the Mustang. We're here to build a drift car. As I drop all my shit all over the ground. So I'm gonna pick this up and I'll show you guys what's inside. Alright. Okay, here she is, guys. Now I've said in other parts of this video, I hadn't been too fond of this new bash bar. But I will say coming in here this morning that it's growing on me. It looks friggin' cool, man. So there's a few things I'd like to adjust or fix, I should say. This whole structure up here is all welded in last night. Definitely not changing anything there. Even these head pins look a little funny, but they serve its purpose, and they ended up being right on top of this tube, so those are all right. Love the Titan logos, so cool. The one thing, I'll just add one more thing here. These dimpled eyes are from my old bash bar. There's also some underneath this fender. Figured I'd share a bit of my old bash bar in this new. I also need to add some fender mounts on the bottom. I usually do like kind of like a brace from the frame rail out to here, and again I use like this size material, easily malleable. You get in an accident, you can straighten it out with a hammer out on the back of the trailer. I added these little fender tabs here, just a little chunk of angle iron, so I got to play with that a bit, and we'll get a rib nut in there so we can take the fenders on and off easily, one on each side. And then, as I was explaining in the other videos, I'm probably repeating myself a lot, so I apologize about that. These are like tie-down straps that you use on like a track system in a trailer. So what I'm going to do is incorporate these into my tube structure, not the bash bar, and these are going to be my toe points. So in the event of an accident, I'm not going to be putting a knife's edge into somebody's car. Nothing protruding out of the bumper at all. So they'll probably hang here somewhere, and I'll just tie them up so that when I do get pulled out, Tokyo can just pull them out, hook onto them, and away we go. So I'm gonna get suited up here, change into work mode, and I don't even know where I'm gonna start, honestly. I think I might just pull the whole front end off again, and get rid of that bumper support, and put some rib nuts in for the fenders. So, but anyway, that's the update. I think it looks really cool. Once it's all painted white, it will really pop and everything will be uniform. It's hard to gauge how much tube is actually under there once it's all covered up, but there's little tubes everywhere. Kind of just bracing it all. As I was saying before, when I take this bumper off, you'll see what I'm talking about. See how it's actually touching the fender right here? It's literally touching the fender. So when I take the bumper off, it's not the prettiest thing in the world to look at, but it's going to serve a purpose, and that's the whole reason we have bash bars. So for style points, not so high. For function points, she's up there. So I got multiple crumple zones now. This gets hit, it's going to bend this tube, and if it keeps going farther, it's going to bend this crumple zone, and all that stuff's replaceable. This tube up top and those tubes on the bottom cannot afford to get bent again. So anyway, that's the update. My phone's going crazy, so got some phone calls to do. Pull this front end off again, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about on that bash bar there. Alrighty, so just been motoring along here. Get you guys kind of up to speed. I put these pins in those 1/4" pins that I've been talking about so much. Those are the weak link in the front end, so those are on. Toe straps are there. What else did we do? Oh, down low here, I cut off the factory tow hooks and just put them in here, not only to act as a gusset, but when I take this front end off to fit it on our camper, our big drift rig setup, we can't park the car with the bash bar on, so when this comes off, we'll still have nice spots to tie the car down to. So we did that. I also went ahead and, you guys can't see it there, so I'll go around, put some of these access holes, as I was talking to you before. These are basically going to be plug welded just to stiffen up that tube inside the frame rail. So it's welded on the front here, but there's nothing welded in the back, right? It's basically just all anchored off one spot, so this is a way of tying it into the frame rail without exposing too much of it. So those will just be plug welds. I'll grind them down and paint over them. No one will even know that I did that. Yeah, just trying to remember. There's just so many little things here. We're pretty much ready to just finish off all the little welds. Like these toe straps need to get welded out. Like I said, I'm going to leave this. As much as I don't like the design, I'm just going to weld it out because it holds the bumper mint. So yeah, just a couple more welds to do, and then I'm going to give it a really good cleaning, and we can mask everything off and get ready for paint. So I'm pretty excited to see this car back in one piece. Like I said, there wasn't a single part of me that wanted to cut all that off, but it had to be done, and it's just a chance to redo it and make it stronger. So alrighty. Excuse me. It's done. Did all the things. Finished those little welds in there, little spot welds on top, as I was explaining earlier, on the sides, just to kind of stiffen up the frame rail. Added those factory tow hooks, kind of like a gusset, and somewhere to tie the car down. Got the pins in. Basically all the things, man. All the things. Trying to give you guys the best perspective of it here. There's so many tubes and triangulation going on. This actually looks a little better now that I gave her a good cleaning. Still not the craziest design in the world, but it works. So this is the last time you guys are going to see it raw. So I figured I'd try to get all the angles for you. I think it looks really cool. So next thing I want to do is grab some steel wool, some sandpaper, make sure everything's free of grease and any kind of contamination, and then we're going to paint all this white. Just kind of make it all match. And then once it's painted, we can put her back together, put the body panels back on, do an alignment, and then assess the damage on the door. But the front end's done. Woohoo! So I'll probably end the video with me just painting it, and then I'll throw some pictures at the end of what it looks like. But probably just time lapse me painting it. There's no point in me really going over it all again. I'll just show you guys what it looks like with some pictures. So thanks for watching our rebuild. This is part 3 now. About 3 hours worth of content that I had to go through and piece these together. 3 hours to you guys is more like 40 hours for me. So it's been quite the process to get it back to this state, but I'm happy with what it looks like, and we're going to be able to go drifting again real soon. So thanks for watching, guys. Give me a like and subscribe if you could, and until next time, we'll see you guys later. Thanks again. Peace.
Bye.